Hey everybody, Dan Bisagni here and welcome. Got a question for you. Would you like to feel secure? Your home network and information system is protected. Took a few simple steps to secure them. Are you concerned that your computer might get hacked or your network might be monitored by people who want to steal your information? Does the idea of losing all your family photos, videos, important documents make you uncomfortable? What if I told you that anyone can secure this information with just a few days of training, and regardless of how non-technical you feel? As many of you know, I've been working in the information technology field for about 15 years as a senior systems administrator. One of my favorite tasks is helping nurses, medical technicians, and other hospital staff when their technology tools begin to malfunction. I love finding creative ways to explain technical issues and instructions in non-technical terms to set them at ease and to walk them step by step through a solution. For example, let's talk about your password. How important is your password? Well, your password is like the key that unlocks your front door to your house. Some passwords are simple, your name, your date of birth, but these are not secure. And the reason why they're not secure is having a password is a lot like having a door lock. And if you have a password that's your name or your date of birth, that door lock is shaped kind of like a screwdriver, and anyone who has a screwdriver can unlock your door. And the same is true for your password. If your password is too simple, anyone who knows your name or your date of birth can just unlock your accounts and can just guess your password. So how do we create a strong password that is complex enough to be secure, easy to remember, and hard to guess? I'll show you my two favorite ways of how to do this. Let's start with some guidelines. The first thing that you want to do is the password needs to be long. I used to tell people that you could use a password that's 8 characters long, but now that can be cracked in a matter of hours. So now we need to do at least 14 characters long minimum. And over time, that number is going to increase as computers get faster. 14 characters long minimum. Need to be complex combination of the following characters: at least 2 capital letters, at least 2 lowercase letters, at least 2 numbers, and at least 2 symbols. Passwords cannot contain specific personal information. Now, it doesn't mean you can't use anything personal, and I'll show you how to do that. Let me show you my favorite way to build a password. And if you want to do this with me, you can write this down as we're going along. But what I did was I wrote down 4 things that I'm interested in that tons of other people are also interested in. First thing I wrote down was basketball. Second thing was being a dad. I'm a dad. The third thing was Italian sheepdogs. The fourth thing was mini Australian sheepdogs. Hopefully I spelled that right. I think I did. I want you to write those things down. And then I want you to write down 2 locations that you won't ever forget. I actually wrote down 3. One was the address of the church where I got married. The second was the school where I graduated from 5th grade. And the third was the school I got kicked out of when I was in 3rd grade. I chose one thing from here, which was mini Australian sheepdogs from this first section, 4 things I'm interested in. The second thing I chose was the school I got kicked out of when I was in 3rd grade. We're going to use those 2 things to build a sentence or 2. And in my case, I wrote 2 sentences. So those 2 sentences were, this year, I met the sweetest mini Australian sheepdog named Barkley. Also, I was kicked out of Melrose School at 120 Federal Hill Road in 3rd grade. Colon, open parenthesis, and then I put a period on it. We're going to take the first letter of each word. We're going to keep all the capitalizations, all the lowercase, and also we're going to keep all the punctuation, all these exclamation points and periods at the end, and all the numbers, and we're going to use that to create a password. There's one other thing that we're also going to use this whole just going to use this whole section. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to make that into a password, and this is the password that creates. When you take the first letter of all of this phrase, this is the password you get. That is a very strong password, and the reason it's very strong is twofold. It's very strong because, one, it's completely random. Like, look how random it is. There's no words in it. Closest thing to a words is mas, which is Spanish, and it's got capitals, lowercase, numbers, symbols, punctuation. Let's look at what we used to create the password. What are the characteristics of this password? Number 1, it's memorable. I can remember the face of this dog, this Australian sheepdog that introduced us to mini Australian sheepdogs. He was so cute. I definitely changed his name to protect the canine scent. It was my dad joke. You guys were the victim. I always remember my first elementary school. That was one of my favorite places to learn. It was a Montessori school, so we learned in a really weird way, but it was really helpful for me. I might forget the address, but I can always Google it. And I remember distinctly that I got kicked out of that school in 3rd grade. These 3 things here, these 4 things really, the dog, the elementary school, the address, and the grade I got kicked out of, helps me remember this sentence. This year I met the sweetest Australian sheepdog named Barkley, and I was kicked out of Melrose School. 120 Federal Hill Road in 3rd grade. Because this is so personal, I'll be able to remember it. Because it's so random, no one's going to be able to guess that. You would have to know multiple things about my life this year and my life 30 years ago in order to guess this password. At this large a password, it would be almost impossible. And let's see why. Passwords characters has 34 characters. It's got 14 capital letters, 12 lowercase letters, 4 symbols, and 4 numbers. And we can adjust this too if we wanted to. If we wanted to make a rule that said every 3rd letter we're going to put a 6, or every 3rd letter we're going to put a 9 or a 7 or an 8 or a B, or whatever. We can make up whatever rules we want to make our passwords more complex, more weird. You could even add symbols if you want. This is what we've created. We've created a password that's super complex. It's very memorable, very long. I can remember it because it's personal, but it's not super specific to me, like it's not my date of birth. It will take forever for someone to guess a password that's 34 characters long. It's 19 quindecillion years. Doesn't even sound like English. For a computer to crack that password according to the security.org password strength checker. That password is not, it's going to take forever for someone to crack that password. They literally would have to know this or know this phrase and the rules that I made up in order to guess this password. It would be very difficult. Now, if you want to check the strength of your password, you can go to security.org and they have password strength checker. I tend to not put passwords into the strength checker that I'm going to use on my stuff just because I'm a little bit paranoid and I don't know who's set up the security.org website. It's a very useful website, but I don't know who set it up. I just used it for the password checker to see if I have a strong password or how strong my passwords are. Now, the cool thing about the above password is also you can modify it however you want. You can make up your own rules. After every proper noun, you add a number or a symbol. You can use that password, but then add a subject word based on the website you're looking at. So if you wanted to add video to the beginning or the end of that password, or bank for Wells Fargo, or thief for IRS websites, etc., you can just add those things in as you go from website to website, and then you're using different passwords for those websites, even though you can remember it in the same way. Technically, you're using the same passwords for each website, but really, technically, it's a slight differential. The password is so long and strong that I don't think it's a security risk to do that, as long as you're adding these extra words, because that also adds to the complexity. You can even write down these sets of rules, and this is going to make a bunch of people mad. You can actually write down your rules, write down your password, write down your password phrase, and as long as you store it in a locked location, I don't have a problem with you writing it down. Most people who are security professionals will say, don't ever write down your passwords. I don't think that's realistic. I would say don't write down your passwords and not store them safely. So you want to put them in a safe, in a notebook. Well, that's under lock and key. That's a secured location. Can someone break in and take your stuff? Yes, of course. That's not great. But it's a risk, but it's a low risk if it's under lock and key. So if you have a locking desk or a locking, file cabinet or a locking safe, you can do that. And that's a secure way of storing information. So the second way that I usually recommend to people to build a password if they're just getting started trying to do a really strong password is to take several random words, like 4 or 5 random words. They can be personal, but they must be generic and unrelated. So very, very much random. Separate each word with numbers and symbols and capitalize each word. In this case, what I did was I took things that I like: cats, dogs, rabbits, burgers, brisket, Mustang. Those are the things that I chose that I was going to put in my passphrase. It's called a passphrase. After each of those, I decided that, hey, I'm going to just choose a significant number in my life and put it after each word. The numbers for the age: 1 when I was born, for the first time I visited Texas. 3 was when I was captain of the JV basketball team and we were not having a losing record for the first time in like 15 years. That was a big accomplishment in my world. 21 when I drove across country with my friends, and 29 was the year I got married. That was how old I was when I got married. So now I'm also going to choose these symbols right here, and I'm going to add those symbols after the numbers in that order. The pattern is word, number, symbol, word, number, symbol, word, number, symbol, all the way down the line. And actually the last one breaks the pattern, which is kind of cool and is a little bit more secure because we didn't have an extra number and we didn't have an extra symbol. We actually end up with a broken pattern at the back, which is good. You don't want to be too patternistic because modern algorithms can crack into patterns pretty quickly. So you want to kind of minimize that. You want to minimize repeating stuff. Let's look at this password. This password is actually stronger than our other password to a point. Main point is that it's 50 characters long, which is super long. No one, it's going to take forever to crack a 50 character long password. Maybe in 20 years, that's not going to be a long password, but right now, that's a very, very long password. Okay, it's got 6 capital letters, 31 lowercase letters, 5 symbols, 9 numbers. And again, you can adjust those symbols and number counts as you need complexity. Using these 2 techniques, anyone can create an enormously strong password. You don't need to be technical in your profession or from information security or have a security certificate to do this type of work. If you can follow a recipe, then you can transform your worries about hackers and technology into a calm confidence that you're not the easiest target. Now, you might think, what about securing my Wi-Fi network, backing up my photo? In the next video that I'm going to send out, we'll go over my favorite Wi-Fi modifications, and I'll show you why too, because the why is really scary, actually. Not scary in a horrible way, but scary that it's easy to find people's networks. That's what's coming up in my next video. That should be out in a couple of days. And I hope this video was helpful for you. Please leave a comment below. There's a website, lowtechsupport.com/newsletter. You sign up. It will actually, after you approve it, and it will send you a link to a PDF that will allow you to download this procedure. Now, that PDF is very old, so I was recommending 8 character passwords. Don't do that. Do at least 14. But that number is always going to be going up. But the procedure is in there for both of these. So feel free to download that. If you have any questions also, or you want to see another video like similar to this one that also talks about password and password management, just go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Daniel Bisagni. Got multiple videos and also how to manage passwords, how to use multi-factor authentication. I hope this was helpful. Leave me a comment below what you thought about my procedure for making passwords. Tell me which one you like better, or tell me how you like to build your passwords. See you in the next video. Hope this is helpful. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. God bless you. Peace.